Fear is a powerful thing. David Mason. Menendez.
This is a load of barnacles.
I heard that! That ain't SpongeBob! SpongeBob is square!
I'm ready.
No, you ain't!
Call of Duty Black Ops is a shadow of what it once was, and it's time for the COD community to let it go. What was once a series that proudly showcased Call of Duty at its absolute best, providing the absolute peak of Call of Duty's campaigns, multiplayer and zombies, all in one $60 package, now embodies the franchise's greed and Activision's desperation to keep the money river flowing. It was clear as day that the Black Ops series was faltering after Black Ops 6, but the release of Black Ops 7 is the final nail in the coffin, and is a prime example of why releasing a new game every single year is unsustainable. And it also shows nostalgia baiting in its final form, the kind of nostalgia bait that puts even Disney to shame. So I think it's time for us, and more importantly Activision, to let Black Ops go. But before all that, let's take things back. It's 2008 and Treyarch released their latest COD title, World at War. It's a great game, but it couldn't quite match the hype of last year's title, Modern Warfare, made by Infinity Ward. So they took a step back and looked at everything that World at War did that COD 4 didn't. So the next titles could one day surpass Infinity Ward's golden child. Well, World at War's multiplayer is extremely similar to COD 4's, including all the things that made Modern Warfare's matchmaking so much fun. Its campaign was much grittier than Modern Warfare's, showing the horrors of war up close and personal, while maintaining a core group of characters that the player could bond with, like Modern Warfare's SAS team. The setting, however, needed to be changed. Arguably the biggest sort of hype for Modern Warfare was, well, Modern Warfare. As standout as World at War's World War II campaign was, it was one World War II campaign out of hundreds of others. Storming the Right Stand just couldn't compare to flying around and blowing shit up in a helicopter. Okay, so keep the multiplayer formula, but change the setting of the campaign. But we're forgetting something. The one thing that separated World at War from all the COD games before it, the one thing that separated a Treyarch game from all the rest, is kick-ass soundtrack. No, I'm obviously talking about COD Zombies. Well, the soundtrack was pretty awesome too. The Zombies mode offered something that no other Call of Duty game, even COD 4, ever could. It almost felt like a separate game entirely, acting almost like a strategy horror game, as the player has to survive harder and harder rounds while managing getting better gear and even perks in some of the DLC maps. It was a hit with players, and in one game alone spawned an entire community dedicated to the Zombies mode itself. So absolutely, they would have to bring back Zombies bigger and better than it was before. Okay, so that's it then. Keep the winning multiplayer formula from COD 4, change the setting to something close to modern day, while keeping it distinct from Modern Warfare, and include an even better version of the Zombies. And what they came back with 2 years later was nothing short of a masterpiece. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Taking out my own personal nostalgia and reverence for COD 4, the original Call of Duty Black Ops is the best game, not only in Black Ops, but in the Call of Duty franchise as a whole. If there was any COD game that could ever tackle the juggernaut that was Modern Warfare 2, it was this one. While MW2's campaign felt much more like an army-themed action movie, think Fast and Furious with a military coat of paint, BO1 felt almost like a retro military themed Bond movie, interweaving real life events like the Bay of Pigs invasion and real historical figures like Fidel Castro and JFK with classic Call of Duty action and comically evil Bond style villains. Immediately, this stood out as a COD game like no other. Modern Warfare didn't have the balls to include real people. You weren't hunting down Osama bin Laden in Modern Warfare 2, you were hunting down the fictional character Makarov. Real parties were involved in Black Ops 1 and were integral to the plot, and weren't just standing there in the background for glorified member berries.
Hey, member!
JFK, BO1 also made a huge leap by for the first time having the player character actually be a voice protagonist, allowing your character to be the centre of the story, rather than just watching everything else happen in front of you. And of course, we can't forget the twist. Spoilers for this brand new game, where the whole time your friend Reznov, who's been fighting alongside you the entire game, was dead the entire time and has been a figment of your imagination, and you've been brainwashed to take his revenge and eliminate specific targets. This, Activision, is what Black Ops is. The trippiness of Black Ops campaigns was never about spending 45 minutes fighting zombies and big fuck off Destiny raid bosses. It was about uncovering the truth, very real conditions like psychological manipulation and schizophrenia, and battling with your inner self, all for the greater good. Ironically, the Hunt the Truth tagline for Black Ops 6, which was borderline false advertising by the way, made much more sense for Black Ops 1 and 2, because then it would actually have some relevance. I'm highlighting the campaign so much here because it showed the complete change in priorities. Sure, in a post-MW2 world, multiplayer was the main reason people flocked to the series. The campaign was just set dressing. But that's just it. The campaign sets the tone for the entire game. It's why fighting as the CIA in Spetsnaz and BO1's multiplayer was cool and gave it flavour, since the campaign gave it some context. Whereas fighting as JSOC and the Guild means literally nothing in BO7. They couldn't have picked more generic names if they tried. We honestly might as well go back to fighting as my team and the enemy team from Vanguard. It also immediately showed how much love and care the developers had for BO1 as a whole, as even though by that point the campaign was the least important part for most people, the developers still put so much time and effort into it, reflecting how much polish the rest of the game would end up having. Sure, the COD franchise would have plenty of games with great multiplayers and bad campaigns, but it's almost never the reverse, because the quality of the campaign reveals the quality of the game overall. Besides the campaign though, the game was still a banger in every aspect. Its multiplayer continued the chaos and excitement around COD multiplayer at the time, and its zombies was fantastic, giving the growing zombies community exactly what they wanted. Treyarch made nothing short of a masterpiece, showing Call of Duty at its absolute prime. They'd finally made a match for Infinity Ward's Modern Warfare, and in many ways they'd surpassed it. But was Black Ops a one-hit wonder, or would they be able to continue their newfound success? Well, I mean, you guys already know the answer. Trailing off the success of Call of Duty Black Ops, Treyarch came back with one goal: somehow make a sequel to BO1 that was even bigger and even better. And they succeeded on all fronts. The campaign told a multi-generational story between the protagonist from the first game and his son David. For the first time, it took the campaign into the future at the time, and it included branching plot lines and decisions that actually matter and impacted the story, and of course it featured the single best villain in COD campaign history. One whose rage and multi-generational thirst for revenge created a story and dynamic that even the best Call of Duty villains like Makarov and General Shepard couldn't even dream of matching. All the story that tied up all the loose ends from the first game, ending with the Black Ops story complete, with no need for expansion. The multiplayer too expanded on the COD formula, and unlike Modern Warfare 3, actually felt like a sequel and a separate game. That sounds kind of familiar. With fantastic maps like Standoff, Raid, Aftermath, and of course Nuketown 2025, the community was eating good. This was arguably the peak of Call of Duty's hype online, with it being the final entry of Call of Duty's golden age. Even Zombies was bigger and better than BO1 provided, with the admittedly controversial map Transit, but with excellent DLC maps like Mob of the Dead, Buried, Origins, and many, many more. To many, Black Ops 2 was the peak of the franchise, with them pulling no punches with all aspects of the game. The campaign was the most expanded and in-depth than any campaign in the series ever had, and honestly ever would be, even 13 years later. The multiplayer was exactly what people wanted and gave people more of what they loved, and the zombies experimented with new ideas and provided a fantastic experience, satisfying both people who wanted something new and people who liked zombies as it was. Black Ops 2 was something special, and while not my personal favourite Black Ops game, objectively it is the best one. And after the end of the original Modern Warfare series, Treyarch hadn't just matched Infinity Ward's offerings, but they had surpassed them. Black Ops series was now Call of Duty's top dog, but Treyarch were faced with a problem. Black Ops 1 and 2 had pushed the series into being the face of Call of Duty, but the story was over. They tied up all the loose ends. expanding the series any further would just feel forced and unnecessary. And well, it was. So this is where a lot of studio interference comes into play. I think it's pretty clear that Treyarch wanted to create something new and original after Black Ops 2, but they were now Activision's big money-making machine, and were forced to come out with Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 a few years later. And you might be thinking, wait, I love Black Ops 3, that was one of the best Call of Duties. And you're right, it was. But it was also where things began to slip. First of all, it has little to nothing to do with the original 2 entries, and with it being set so far in the future, it lacks all of the Cold War charm that the first 2 had. Essentially, it's a Black Ops game in name only, and then there's the campaign. This is what truly brings Black Ops 3 down a peg, and is what stopped it from reaching the same highs as the games from the Golden Era. Well, the standards have dropped since then. Wow, have they certainly dropped. Black Ops 3 had one of the worst campaigns up until that point. Every Golden Era had campaigns that were leagues better, but the only campaigns that it was even close to matching being Ghost and Advanced Warfare's, which, honestly, even they were slightly better. To put it simply, it's a complete incoherent mess that tries to do something thought-provoking and interesting, but ultimately just falls flat. In the end though, it was just boring, which is kind of worse than it being awful. As horrific as fighting a giant Michael Rooker is, it's at least so bad it's kind of funny. The Black Ops franchise hadn't had a complete nosedive yet. Its multiplayer and zombies were still classic Treyarch fun. The multiplayer refined the advanced movement from AW, resulting in a multiplayer that people still look back as one of the best today. But the people who were having the best time though was the zombies community, with easily the best zombies offering in any game in Call of Duty history. Like I said though, BO3 was the beginning of the decline, and since from then on the franchise would only get worse and worse. Black Ops 4 would launch with that campaign, and a mediocre multiplayer that tried too hard to be like Overwatch. Its only saving grace was its Battle Royale mode Blackout. You know, the one that's better than Warzone. Black Ops Cold War was returned to form in some ways, with it having a surprisingly decent campaign, if a little safe. But it also had its fair share of issues, like a slow rollout of content, slower movement than its predecessor Modern Warfare 19, and a radically different zombies mode. But Black Ops 6 was a low point in the franchise, with a disappointing campaign that tried so desperately hard to be anything but Call of Duty. Its multiplayer had some of the worst maps in recent memory, and it had a combination of the sweatiest movement and the harshest skill-based matchmaking that this series has ever had. And let's not even talk about the skins. And now we're back to the beginning, with the release of Black Ops 7. The series was already at a low point, but now it's just on life support. The campaign is ruining the legacy of what came before it, with both its story and its gameplay. You don't need a sequel to Black Ops 2. David's story was over. There wasn't really much they could do with him. Because they keep making Black Ops games, they're trapped in this corner of using the same characters over and over again until there's literally nobody left. Because they keep making mediocre games with lackluster characters, they keep having to rely on the old ones, with no business of them being there. Oh, it's Black Ops? Oh, Wiz has to be in it. Oh, but wouldn't he be like over 100 years old at this point? That's fine. We're doing some hallucination bullshit, so he can come back as a vision. Oh, better yet, let's turn him into a giant fucking Venus flytrap. We're all out of Black Ops 1 nostalgia. That's fine. We can bring back Menendez for no fucking reason. Oh man, people are pretty bummed out after Black Ops 6. How do we get people excited for this new game? Oh, I know. Let's bring back Reznov. Fucking Reznov! He hasn't played an important role in Call of Duty in 15 fucking years. Half the player base don't even have a clue who Reznov even is. Hell, half the player base are younger than Black Ops 1. It's not like they can't create new ideas for the series. I mean, usually they're bad, but when they're actually good, like Russell Adler, the single best new character introduced in the past 10 years, they get wasted. Apart from that though, it's clear to see that the yearly release schedule has been what's tearing the series apart. Every game has been rushed out the door like BO7 and BO4, or has been forced to be made so quickly they have to rely too heavily on what came before, like Cold War and Black Ops 6. For years now, it's clear to see that the yearly release schedule is unsustainable. Games keep releasing half-baked, and even worse, they release them at full price. With a campaign that looks like it was made in Roblox, and AI content that someone could whip up in 5 minutes, all for a full $70. Black Ops 7 is more than just disappointing, it's an insult to its player base. So, just let go. Black Ops games we loved are not the kinds of games that Treyarch are making now. Treyarch itself is not the same company. They might have had an extra year, but they still had to make Black Ops 6 and 7 at the same time, and both games suffered for it. But no matter how much we complain, and how much we want the games to be like they used to, they never will be. Because Activision won't let them be like they used to. They're gonna keep forcing Treyarch to reuse the same iconic characters and keep them releasing half-baked games just to please their investors. So Treyarch should break free of the Black Ops series and create something new, absolutely. But something tells me they can't. So instead, I think it's time for all of us to finally let go of Call of Duty Black Ops. They won't be getting any better. That's okay. We have other options. Thank you for watching.